Swipe filing. You've heard of it, right? Know the rules like a pro so you can break them like an artist? Well, when talking about your copywriting swipe file, there are two things that I have found most people leave out when they're talking about them, and I have found them super important as I've built my business and my agency, and that's what I'm bringing you today. So by the end of this video, you're gonna see not one, not two, but 3 ways to get more organized in your business and get started writing faster. Let's go. Well, hey there, my name is Ashlyn Carter. I'm a conversion copywriter for creative entrepreneurs like you, and my love language is somewhere between words and workflows, which is why I'm super excited to talk about this today. As I'm talking, if you're picking up what I'm putting down, then over here somewhere is the subscribe button and a bell next to it. Hit that and you will be in on the loop, join in with the fam, and you'll be first to know when these videos come out each and every week. No pretense, no wind up. Let's dig straight into these 3 hacks that you can use as you build out your copywriting swipe file. The number 1 way, the classic. So quick story, art students studying the work of the greats is nothing new, right? So this is kind of the copywriting equivalent of it. Dutch post-impressionist painter Vincent van Gogh, you've probably heard of him, reimagined about 30 different works from some of the greats of his time when he was working on honing his craft. I remember this one from art history in college. Look at his slant on a Delacroix work. In doing this, he was looking to reinvigorate his work artistically. But rather than replicate, Van Gogh sought to translate the subjects and the composition with his own technique, his own style, his own colors. I bring this up because this, my friend, is how you swipe and steal like an artist. So a quick definition, classic swipe filing is building up and curating a body of work and writing samples that you can then turn around and use. Done well, it can both inspire your writing and boost your skills. I'm gonna dig into, in just a moment, implementation ways that you can get this going, but think about all the different things that you could swipe. Upsell pages, landing pages, reg pages, sales pages, of course, different ads, email subject lines, thank you pages, headlines, bullets. I would even say don't discount physical mailers. I have grabbed some great ones lately that have come through in my mailbox, and I put those in a folder in my office. So before you chunk a good mailer in the recycling, look at it. There might be something you can learn from it. As for organizing these, I use both a physical swipe file and a digital swipe file. Gonna show you both. So first, physical, I just talked to you about the mailers, but I also have, and I pulled them over, it's huge and it's heavy, a stack of books and notebooks that I look at fairly often. If you are really wanting to get in on studying copywriting, I would recommend doing something like this. Some of these books can be expensive, but also handwriting out different ads can be a great way to sharpen your skills. That's what's all in that notebook. That stack's big, but I would say the majority of my swipe files, I just keep in Evernote. So let me flip the camera around and show you a little bit about how my Evernote swipe file and journal stack is organized. Here we are in my Evernote, and what I wanted to show you over here is so you can see a quick stack of the different types of notebooks that I keep in Evernote. And you could do this a couple of ways. So I opened up this folder because I wanted you to see these. I forward automatically my own newsletters. Like when I'm testing them, typically I will forward them over here because this is essentially a set of swipes for me, right, to look at. But here, if you pop down this folder, these are all the different types of things that I will copy and keep in my swipe file. So yes, forwarding emails with the Evernote email address that they give me that's attached with the account. And then I will also go ahead and screenshot things. I will use a Chrome plugin to screenshot the entire page, but I'll just do keyboard shortcuts and copy different things and then dump them into these notebooks, so to speak. So that's what that stack is, and it's been so easy to use and flip through and search, and I love it. So the takeaway here, and I know you probably get a lot of emails, but go ahead and start signing up for people that you would imagine have really good killer copy and start to study it and put it in a swipe file and figure out what you can learn from it. Sign up for offers. A couple of weeks ago, I showed you in Facebook how to look at all the different ads that a page is running. Look at those ads. Can you study them enough to figure out what they're running as the control? Snag that physical mail. With all of this, make sure that you are organizing it. Not organized, it's not going to be useful. My students inside the Art of Efficiency, my systems program, know that I have 2 folders that I talk about a lot. I have a Read at Leisure email folder, and I also have a newsletter folder that things are automatically supposed to go and sort to. And I look at these, and from these, I build my swipe file if I like something. Also, if this is interesting for you or you would like to see more of my Evernote files, can you comment below? It always helps to know what would actually help you guys, and I'm Always listening for requests. Before I get into hack number 2, major caveat here, please, please, oh please, use these powers for good. So we all know there's nothing new under the sun. But the point of gathering these is to discover winning formulas, to get out of your writer's block, to see principles and actions, to see sentence structure. It is not, I repeat, not to dupe, to plagiarize, or to steal anybody's work. I feel like I shouldn't have to say this, but I've seen my work and my clients' work crop up more times than I can count. Totally sucks. If you're gonna call yourself a creative entrepreneur, come on, be creative. I know you can do this. I'm especially excited to share with you hack 2 and 3 because I know they'll help you here. To wrap up this one though, I would say in a classic swipe file, what you're looking for there is by and large, you're looking to study the framework and the structure of it, less so than the words themselves. So let's jump into hack number 2 because this is where I think you're gonna have an aha moment. Another quick story, one time my husband and I were sitting on the couch. I had a day, you know what it's like, and my football loving husband reminded me that, hey Ashlyn, the Patriots don't win every single Super Bowl, but they're still respected as an outstanding football team. You're not always gonna win. The analogy worked, so I then turned around, put it in my story bank, and later it popped out as an Instagram post and an email newsletter. Ah, the beauty of story banking. Someone recently DM'd and asked, I'd love to know how you organize and compile the daily stories you write down and use for content. Do you exclusively use Evernote? Are they full stories or words to jog your memory? So here you go. I mentioned a bit of this process in a video I did the other week where I talked about my work to rest wind down routine, but I make it the goal of every single day to think of at least one story that happened to me and record it. I like to use an Asana file that I have where I sort all of these, but essentially how it goes is when I'm trying to figure out how to illustrate a point and I need an analogy, an anecdote, a story, just some kind of hook that I can use to explain that point, I go look at this Asana board, I snag one of the stories, and I hook it together with a segue, not that kind of segue, and make my point. So here's an easy way you can start story banking today. What if at the end of every workday you wrote down one thing you learned about growing a small business that day? One big takeaway. You would pretty much have a whole year of learning lessons and content banked up. So in a tool like Asana, you could pop it on a card with one line. That's to answer that question. That's all I do. I just do a line or two. It's nothing big. It's mostly to jog my memory. I'm gonna sort it into an area that I could potentially use it, whether it is a cautionary tale, it's something that made me laugh, it's a good icebreaker, and that's about it. I'm not gonna worry about the segue or anything. I'm just trying to compile these and put them in one place so later on I can come back to it and I don't have to do all the thinking. So besides the story bank and a classic swipe file, there's one other little method that I've been using since 2016, the copy bank. Let me know below if you've had this experience, but I began to hear the same words over and over again, not only as I marketed my own business, but as I wrote for clients, and I wanted to get out of that rut. Looking at you, swoon-worthy. How could I organize and reference fun words or phrases or adjectives or nouns that I was hearing or popped into my brain that maybe I'm not able to use that day and that task that I'm doing, but one day I would like to employ? I wanted to use those words inside these copywriting frameworks I was studying and these stories I was telling. So I started organizing my copy in my notes app, and the rest is history. So again, if you're a student inside the Art of Efficiency or if you're inside Copywriting for Creatives or both, then you know this. I am huge on organizing your words so you actually use them. Now for my personal copy bank, I tend to use Evernote and it works great, but I have students that have done everything from spreadsheets to Google Docs to their notes app. Do what works for you, but here's my takeaway. And I like this tip because I think essentially it's a way to be funny even if you don't think you're funny. Start listening and paying attention to what you read, what you consume, whether it is a podcast or a sermon or an audiobook, or it's actually something that you're reading. Maybe it's even the meme account that makes you giggle on Instagram. If you like it, if it strikes a nerve with you, copy bank it. Like I said, things that I like to include are adjectives, nouns, phrases. I go nuts with quotes. I also tell my students to have your own isms, like your Ashlynisms, phrases that you use commonly, sorted somewhere. I would also even argue that you could stack gifts together and come back to those when you need to. This last tip is what makes swiping those copywriting frameworks and combining them with story so powerful, because now you're able to season them in with words and phrases that you liked and that you wanted to use. If you want to get started building your own copy bank and swipe file and want to kickstart the whole process with a curated list of words that suit you and your brand voice based on your personality, then look down below or go to ashlynwrites.com/quiz. You'll get a curated copy bank starter pack, and I'm going to throw in a copy framework or two that I think you'll like. Now you know how to get organized with your words, but what about other parts of your business so you can scale them and continue to grow? I've got a video teed up for you next where I talk about how I got into outsourcing and handing things off so I could focus on the things that only I can do. I'm talking through how that's structured in the next video. As always, I'm so honored that you spent some time here. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you out, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.